What is going on, everybody? Zac Graham back again for FTNDaily.com, previewing Game Week 10 on the MLB side of things over at Sorare. If this is your first go-round and you're just looking into what Sorare is, let's talk a little bit more about what we're getting into here. Sorare is a sports fantasy game and marketplace featuring officially licensed digital player cards from the MLB, NBA, and global football. With Sorare, you own and build teams, buying, selling, collecting, and trading officially licensed digital player cards, and compete with them in fantasy games to win rewards week over week and season over season, just like professional owners and general managers. Rewards for these contests include more player scarcity cards and some real life rewards, such as tickets to games, autographed jerseys, gift cards, VIP experiences, and more. Bringing the physical and digital world together. Sorare is the future of fantasy sports, taking ownership to the next level, a true dynasty game in which players own their cards forever. And if you're just getting into Sorare and you haven't signed up yet, you can click the link in the description of this video. And when you sign up for Sorare through that link, you're going to get a free limited card after the purchase or after your first 5 purchases on that primary marketplace. But again, you don't have to come in and start firing in this marketplace and spending your money. Once you sign up, you're going to draft a set of common cards that will allow you to compete in the common contest. And so some of those contests here, you see, if you are if you just signed up and this is your first game week, you're going to see a common contest called the Prospect Contest. And that is only for new managers who have not participated in a game week before. So you're not jumping in with the Sharks, with the Whales. You'll get a nice beginner contest to kickstart your common collection. After, you draft your free set of common cards, and then you're going to continue curating and adding to that common collection as you go throughout your Sorare journey. You can see here I've got the Minors competition and Common All-Star. Minors is not open to collectors who have won a scarcity card before. So that is where, you graduate from the prospect competition. Minors is, for lack of a better term, the next safe competition you can compete in, where you're not going to run into any limited cards or owners who have built out their collection for weeks and maybe over last season as well. Common All-Star is another common-only card competition, but any manager, regardless of status, can compete in Common All-Star. So that's the big difference between the Minors and Common All-Star. There's also 200 limited card rewards in the Minors compared to just 100 in Common All-Star. And I don't have any limited cards in my MLB collection yet. I've been focusing still on NBA and the football side of things. But you can compete in this majors tournament with common cards, but you're going to be behind the 8 ball because limited cards right now get a scoring bonus in that majors contest. So I have stayed away from the majors contest because I'm already behind in terms of that scoring bonus compared to managers who can run their limited cards in that contest. So, and you will unlock these other contests as you either win scarcity card rewards or purchase cards through the auction feature, the primary marketplace, or a starter pack. So you can see up here, you've got new card auctions under the buy and sell tab. You've got manager sales, which we'll check out here in a second. And then you've got the starter packs. And it looks like right now they are sold out of starter packs, but there will be a new batch of packs coming out, I would assume, later on this week. And those starter packs will give you a set of 7 limited cards. Typically that price has been $70 to start the season. And 7 cards is what you need to build a lineup on Sorare. So let's go to the marketplace. We're going to sort by lowest price here. And again, cool new feature that they rolled out last week, the card grouping feature here. So if we go into our targets for the week leading up to game week 10, I'm looking at the Braves and the Mets, who today on Monday play a doubleheader. That's why we start this game week early today. Braves and Mets doubleheader, and then both teams playing 3-game sets the rest of this game week. So 5 bites at the apple for your Braves and Mets cards. If we're looking on the primary marketplace for some limited Braves cards, let's check out, of course, Acuna is the first place to go. $160 low ask for Acuna there, but that's a 2022 card. So if I take my card grouping off and we see every card solo, again, the difference between these 2022 limited and these kind of more shiny, the brighter gold down here on the 2023 cards, you'll see the difference in the XP. So XP on the older editions of the cards are lower. They have a lower XP ceiling than these 2023 current season cards. You can see just for being a current season card, you get a plus 5% XP bonus. So $200 low ask on a 2023 Acuna. You're saving $40 if you pick up that 2022 160 low ask there. Let's go ahead and group these back together, make our way through some of these other Braves options. Albus, $68 low ask there. Let's look at Matt Olson, $80 low ask for Olson. So these guys, Austin Riley, another guy comes to the top of my head. We'll search that. We'll put Austin in there. Austin Riley, $58. So this is a little bit more expensive than some of the targets we've looked at over the last few game weeks. And I think for good reason, not just because they have 5 games this week, but it's the Braves. It's a pretty potent offense there in Atlanta. So I guess one shout I would give is if you look at somebody like Marcell Ozuna, who is struggling to say the least to start this year, slump, maybe putting it nicely. If you believe at all in him being able to turn it around and the Braves still not giving up on him, less than $3 for an Ozuna limited right now. So if you believe at all in his ability to turn this thing around in 2023, that seems like a pretty good way, not just this week, but throughout the season. Less than $3 for an Ozuna limited card there. Let's check out some of the Mets. Obviously some big names here as well. Pete Alonso, $89 low ask. Let's see, Lindor is out there in New York. Francisco Lindor, $57 low ask. I imagine if we look for somebody like Brandon Nimmo, right? And I believe I'm spelling that right. Yeah, there you go. Nimmo, a $27 low ask. So obviously not the same type of names if we're looking at like Jeff McNeil, $18. Like this is how you can get some cheaper exposure to these teams, to these guys that have 5 games this game week. Starling Marte, if I can spell Starling correct. Starling Marte, he has not been great to start the season either, but $21 low ask for a limited Starling Marte. So again, these two teams doubleheader against each other today. Then the Braves going down to Florida to take on Miami for a 3-game set to close out the game week. Mets going to Detroit for their own set of 3 from Tuesday to Thursday. So you can attack that if you're looking, if you want to get a bite at that 5-game apple. You can look at some of those guys, but I always, and again, we talked about it last week. I think we still need to continue to target Coors Field and some of the other home run friendly ballparks with our offense. So Brewers going to Coors this week. Obviously, those Rockies names we have been through multiple times. So let's look at some of the bargains we could maybe find with the Brewers. Again, only 3 games for the Brewers in this game week, but going out to Coors. So I do think these are still some good options in game week 10. Yelich, $15. How the mighty have fallen. Maybe I'm being a little bit too critical there, but obviously it's been a tumultuous few years for Christian Yelich. Kind of I won't say a downfall. He's still out there playing okay, but he's been through some things. Adames, $21 low ask for some Willie in Coors this week. If we're looking at somebody like Brian Anderson, $7 to get some Brian Anderson exposure. One of my favorite names. Let's look at how's Rowdy doing in the marketplace here. $15 for some Rowdy Tellez there. Who else can we look at? William Contreras, right? The catcher there for the Brewers, less than $7. So you can get some really cheap exposure to Coors this week by looking at the Brewers. None of those guys were over $21. So if you're balling on a budget, I do think the Brewers are a pretty good target here in the primary marketplace. And again, if you sign up using that link, if this is your first time on Sorare, you make 5 purchases, you're going to get that 6th limited card free as long as you go through the link in the description of this video. So I do like the Brewers and Coors. Certainly not a hot take there. Let's check out what we did last week. Hunter Green came through for us. The Rangers, once again, my Rangers giving me hope this year, coming through for us. Jonah Heim, $55 Sammy Hagar likes that one. Nate Lowe, 34. Sal Perez came through again, 33. Chris Bryant killed the lineup. I mean, look, we are right around 1,000 out of 26,000 entrants. You got to be, I believe, in that top 200 to get a limited card. If Chris Bryant gives us anything but a 0 last week, I think we are threatening. We are on the bubble there of pulling home a limited reward. But I think this is good enough to give us another tier 2 reward. So let's open up. Yeah, tier 2 here. So let's see what we got as a reward for our work there in game week 10. Brian Reynolds, we will take that. Brian Reynolds on the NL leading Pittsburgh Pirates. I know our buddy Adam Strange is very hyped up about the Pirates' start to the season, especially with Cruz out of the lineup here to start the season. Let's build out the common lineup. Again, we're going into the minors again this week. And my 2 probable pitchers for this set, Kyle Gibson, who really paid off for us 2 game weeks ago with that massive pitching performance. I think I'm still going to side with Blake Snell here, even though he's been, or he hasn't had that boom game like Old Man Gibson did for us, or even Hunter Green with a 30 last week. But Snell at home tonight against Cincy. I'm going to go ahead and lock him in as my starting pitcher. Jose Alvarado has been as consistent as it gets for us, so he's going to keep my relief pitcher spot. Only 2 games this game week for the Rangers, but I think I'm still going to go Nate Lowe over Gunnar Henderson. The ceiling has just been there for Lowe, and even with just 2 games taking on the Diamondbacks this week, I'll stick with the Rangers here over Gunnar Henderson, who just hasn't shown the ceiling. And of course, Moncada might be a guy I swap out of my lineup or swap out of my collection. If you're just starting on Sorare, every 24 hours, you get the option to swap one of your common cards out. You select the card you want to swap, and then Sorare is going to present you with 5 different choices of cards you can trade your card in and get that new card back. If you don't like any of the 5 choices they present you, you can X out of that. It is going to reset your clock still on the swap, but you just because you offer a card up to Sorare for a potential swap doesn't mean you lose that card. You actually have to select a new one and go through that process. So if you're just playing in the common card streets, make sure you use your swap every day. Continue to curate that common card collection. So Moncada with that back injury, he might be gone from my common card collection when we meet again on Friday. Middle infielder, I mean, Jonah Heim has been fantastic this season so far. But I get 4 games potentially with Whit Merrifield there in Toronto, or 3 from Sal Perez. And I'm going to go with my guy Perez. I think just a little bit bigger pop than Whit Merrifield. Probably a less safe floor with Sal compared to Merrifield, especially since he's got those 4 games. But looking for the big scores. We want to be top 200 and get that limited card reward. So, feeling good with that Brian Reynolds in that outfield collection now. But I'm going to ride with Chris Bryant in the 3 games he has at home in Coors this week. He gave us a 0 last week. Super disappointing, I know, but we're going back to him. Give me the 3 games in Coors because I have these 2 extra spots. And again, in your flex spot, here's your extra hitter. Then we're looking at the flex spot, and the flex spot can be any player. And I don't think I'm going to go Kyle Gibson this week. So let's go ahead and get. Let's see what this is a lot of good options. Reynolds now in the lineup. Heim, only 2 games, but he's been crushing. Kelnich, 3 games. Merrifield, 4 games. Robles, 4 games in the outfield there for the Nationals. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me put Brian Reynolds in here. We'll ride with the new guy in the collection. And then I'm going to go with another hitter. I think I'm looking at one of these 4-game players, Merrifield and Robles, and I think Merrifield is probably going to be my pick here. I feel like it's a little bit safer of a floor. Merrifield taking on the Red Sox in Boston, Robles at home against the Cubs this week. So, I'm probably going to look back 2 days from now, middle of the game week, and wish I went the other way, but I'm going to go with Merrifield. High floor. Probably a lower ceiling play, but you get 4 bites at the apple with Merrifield this week. We know he's aging, but can still put up. You can look at his game log here. Just in game week 8, man had 40 Sorare points. So 4 games of Merrifield. We'll submit that lineup. And make sure you get your lineups in. Again, early start today for game week 10 on Sorare. If you're just getting started, one last reminder, sign up through the link in the description of this video, get that free limited card, and come back again on Friday when we're here, same spot, Friday morning, previewing game week 11 on the MLB side of things at Sorare. But good luck in game week 10, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.